the strategy is that all the stakeholders need to be involved, and they have been involved. We recognize each stakeholder has value, and then we facilitate that recognition of all stakeholders. Bottom line of all these meetings is everybody gets their say, everybody gets respect. And then go slow. Nothing, permanent solutions don't come overnight. You've got to build consensus, and then you've got to fix the problem, not the symptom. There are people who said, well, let's just grow more turtles, which is fixing the symptom, not the problem. So this has been our strategy down there. I think it's been very successful. It's the kind of strategy that we're getting a lot of attention for, and we're going to roll out around the world because there's a lot of the same sort of issues going on. Okay, finally, we need turtles. Remember, I talked about that was going to be one of our things. Why do we need turtles? My grandmother used to say, I didn't miss the dinosaurs, why will I miss sea turtles? And so here's my answer to that. Think of what it means to our ocean, that our oceans no longer have the species that ranges all over. What does that say about the quality of our oceans? If our oceans start losing some of these large predators, some of these animals that are so finely tuned into watching that environment, living in that environment, they've got 90 million years of selective pressure behind living in that environment. When they go, that means something has changed out there very dramatically, and that's probably not going to be good. Think about the ecological role like leatherbacks or jellyfish consumers. You know that there are only 2 species of marine animal in the world that eat nothing but jellyfish? The ocean sunfish, the molavola, and the leatherback sea turtle. That means the leatherback is responsible for controlling jellyfish populations. Do you know one of the things the jellyfish biologists are saying right now about the North Atlantic cod fishery and many of the North Atlantic fisheries? Those fisheries are not recovering at the rate that the fish population biologists thought they would, and they can't figure it out. They're like, what is going on? Why aren't these populations coming back? We closed the fishery, there's no more fishing pressure on them, and the population's staying down. We have jellyfish populations exploding all over the North Atlantic right now. Populations are going through the roof. What's happened is ecosystems reach these equilibriums, and then they try to hold. And those equilibriums hold very stable. They're very resistant to change. We've had a shift now in equilibrium in the North Atlantic, where it was a fish-based, fish-top ecosystem. It's now a jelly-top ecosystem. Jellies are predators. They eat phytoplankton, they eat the little plants, some do. Some species of jellyfish eat zooplankton, little small plankton. Some eat small fish, some eat large fish. Remember, a jellyfish is an 80-foot-long tentacle, 6 feet in diameter. It can eat a fairly substantial sized fish. So jellyfish are a top predator and a bottom predator within a food web. They're feeding all over. You explode those populations, that means the plankton-eating jellyfish are eating all the plankton, so the fish fry don't have anything to eat. The bigger jellyfish are eating the fish fry, so the fish fry don't survive, and it has damped down fish populations. That is very, very important to us because many of those are commercial fish populations, and they can't recover because of the jellyfish population. Okay, so we have the one species out there who's responsible for keeping those jellyfish populations in check, and it's a critically endangered species. Again, we need to be aware of the balance and how these animals play an ecological role. And then finally, I say this is the final rivet. Did I spell that right? Anybody spell rivet? I did final rivet. I like to quote Paul Ehrlich on this because Paul's a really quite an extraordinary thinker from Stanford University. Paul and Ann Ehrlich, both are extraordinary people. They, when people ask Paul, well, you know, so what difference does one species make? What he's been quoted as saying is, think of an airplane wing. An airplane wing has thousands of rivets all across its surface. When we pull out one rivet, it doesn't make any difference. When we pull out 2 rivets, it doesn't make any difference. But we don't know at what point we've pulled out the last rivet and that airplane's wing tears off when it's in flight. Well, populations and ecosystems are the same thing. We don't know, we know that they're all interlinked. We know that the models are more complex than the most the biggest business model you could ever create. But we don't understand those complexities very well. And so it's the same sort of thing. It's popping out a rivet and popping out a rivet. We lose this species, we lose that species, and eventually the whole wing's going to come off. So we have to be aware of that sort of in the long term as well. So this is my explanation for why we need leatherback sea turtles. Thank you.
are the people at the Grand Banks aware of what you just said? That
More
the
and
turtles
more.
are involved?
More and more.
Because we were up there just 2 years ago, and I never heard this.
Yeah.
I heard that they were not recovering.
Yeah, and more. And part of it is that there haven't been a lot of jellyfish studies, to be honest. I mean, I only know 3 jellyfish biologists in the whole wide world who study jellyfish. And no, I mean, it doesn't have fur, it doesn't have big brown eyes. I mean, there's not a lot of people studying jellyfish. And so their story is slow to come out. But the people that are beginning to recognize it the fastest are the oceanographers, because those are the guys that are out there measuring what's going on in the world's oceans. And they're beginning to say, oh my goodness, you know, look at this, look at what's happening. The whole system is falling out of equilibrium right now. And so Claudia Mills is one of those biologists from the University of Washington, and she's been pushing her jellyfish story, but again, it's not receiving quite the press. But you guys watch. Like I said, National Geographic's coming to Trinidad with me this summer. They'll know.
Do you want to take a break now and let them ask some more questions later?
If you guys want, that's fine. I have a 11:30 meeting, and I'm good until then. So.
Okay, well, let's take a little 10-minute break,
Yeah.
and then we'll come back and ask more questions.
Yeah, that was